Hey friends, in today's video, I'm going to show you my Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolor collection, or the couple of sets that I have in my studio. I will swatch them out for you. I'll talk to you about the differences between this and normal, like Western watercolor, and talk to you about the prices, and I'll show you a little painting that I did with this right at the end. If this interests you, you want to find out more about these paints that I have, keep watching the video. Alright, so this is the Kuretake Gansai Tambi set that I have. This one is an 18 color set that I got very early on in my painting journey. Not super early, but this is maybe been with me for about 4 years now. And then shortly after that, I got this gold set, which is very used, as you can tell, because a lot of people recommended it, and I really do love it when I do need my gold. And this set here is a 12 color set that I just got last week from the art shop, just to add more colors to this collection. So before I do swatching and all that, let me tell you a little bit more about how these watercolors are different from your Western style watercolor. So firstly, you can probably see that the pans are really large. They're much larger than your typical Western pans. So I have my Daniel Smith set here, and as you can see, these little squares are half pans. Whereas this one here, this is a refill you can buy. The size of this is more than 4 times the size of a half pan, so much larger surface area. However, that said, it doesn't fill up all the way. As you can tell, there's a little dip in it, so it's not like it's super duper full. But the size of these pans are just really nice for you to get like a really big brush into there if you want to paint larger scale. So the size of the pans, one of the difference. The next is that the actual paint itself is in between a gouache and a watercolor. A lot of people call them sort of like, yeah, in between gouache and watercolor, as in it isn't as transparent as you like it to be. In fact, that you can get quite a bit of opacity in these paints. This is a swatch that I did of my new set last week, and as you can probably tell, I got it to be transparent. If you add a lot of water, it can get quite transparent, but if you just get it really thick saturation, it can be quite opaque. You can say that about some watercolors as well, but overall, in general, these paints feel more opaque than your typical watercolor. Let me get another sketchbook. Okay, so this is a painting that I did from this set as well, and I don't know if you can tell, it just has also like a sheen to it. When it dries, it has like almost like a really nice sheen that you don't find in watercolor. So this is using this set, and I think this one too, whereas this is watercolor. It doesn't dry with that sheen. Okay, so the finishing and how it eventually looks is, people can say it's kind of like more gouache than watercolor. Okay, the next one is definitely the price point. So the price for this 18 color set, if I'm not wrong, I'm checking Amazon right now, they're always different, but it's between 21 and 29 US dollars for this. That's a lot of colors. And this set here, it says 18 US dollars for 12. So in terms of professional level artist grade paint, these are less expensive. Okay, are they considered professional grade? Are they considered student grade? I feel like it's not super clear. However, a lot of professionals do use this. I have seen professional artists use these paints in their painting. You know, in terms of vibrancy, it is very, very good. Whether it's light fast or not is also something that I'm not sure of. I haven't actually tested it myself. Let me know in the comments below if you do have this set and whether you feel that they are light fast. Light fast meaning, will it fade and when it's exposed to too much light? So that is another thing to consider when you are buying these paints. If you go to the Kuretake website, they have many more sets. Okay, so I got the 18, there's the 24, there's the 36, and then there's all these additional sets as well. But today in this video, I'll be swatching just what I have. I'll talk to you about the different colors that exist here, and some I like, some I don't like, why, and we'll be painting a beautiful painting together. So let's do this. Okay, to do this swatching, I'm going to be using my brand new watercolor book from Temu. Yep, I went to Temu and I have been trying out different Temu sketchbooks lately because I just really wanted, you know, a couple of low pressure sketchbooks that aren't costing me a lot of money. And this one, I don't know, this image reminds me of another brand. Do you know which brand I'm talking about? So I thought it was going to be 100% cotton, but it is not. It's just wood pulp, but I'm just going to try it out. All right, as you can see, I have used this quite a bit. I've gotten to the bottom of some. And you also, yeah, I forgot to mention, you can just buy refills of the color. They are about $3+ for me here in Australia for one color. So it's really useful for you to replace them. Oh yes, another thing I want to chat to you about is it comes in this kind of cardboard cover. So it's totally made of cardboard, which is nice. There's a little bit where you can swatch the colors there. And the set that I bought years ago didn't actually have the color name in English on the pen. It only had it on the cover. However, the set that I bought last week, this additional color set, does have the English name written on it. So maybe they've changed it and now it all has that as well. And because it doesn't have a palette that comes with it, you will probably need a separate palette to mix your colors. I have this one here, and but for swatching purposes, I probably won't need to. We'll see how we go. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to write down all the colors in this pen with this fine liner, and then I'm gonna swatch over it. Okay, I have written down all the colors on this page. I'm gonna start with the 18 set. I'm gonna try my best to get the most opaque color over here, like this. And then I'm gonna water it down to get a less saturated hue. So we'll see, we can practice our value scale here as well. So that is red, very nice fire engine red. Then I'm gonna wash off some of that pigment and then gonna keep going and find just a less, like how light can I go with that? Okay, so when we swatch our paints, it's really nice to see it in its various intensity. Okay, let's go and grab Rose Madder now. So Rose Madder is a beautiful corally pink. Oh, so pretty. As you can tell, I use this quite a lot. I'm almost at the end, and I have already bought a replacement Rose Madder here. So nice. Lovely. All right, if I feel like I've gotten a nice light version of it, I won't do as many as this one. Okay, the next one is Rose Madder Deep, and it's actually pretty much the same as this, but maybe just deeper, so more more blue even, like, you know, it's more magenta. Oops, sorry about that. My phone just went off. And I don't use this one as much because I keep forgetting that it's actually Rose Madder Deep. I mean, on the palette, it looks really red. It looks like more like this, right? So it's interesting sometimes when you forget what's in your palette and what's the, you know, what the swatch is. You don't look at the swatch, you won't get to these colors. Okay, so whoops, I've actually gone into Cat Scarlet. So this is actually Cadmium Scarlet here, which is like Scarlet Lake. Beautiful orangey red. I'm trying to be very careful to not confuse the focus of my camera. So I put my water now on the right hand side rather than above like this. So I really hope that the focus is good for this, because this is the second time I'm actually making this swatch. Okay, let's go and get Lemon Yellow. I use this quite a lot as well. It's the only yellow in the palette. And if I had to just choose one yellow, it will be Lemon Yellow for sure. It's a very bright, cheerful yellow. So beautiful. Actually, not as opaque as I thought it would be. See, it's still transparent. But if I get like even a thicker value of that, yeah, it can get quite opaque. Okay, so yellow ochre, also a very useful, as you can see, I've totally covered the words with that. So very opaque. And sometimes you want your yellow ochre to be a bit opaque. But then it can go this light as well, so very versatile. This one is sap green light. So now that we're entering the greens, I want to just share with you look at how opaque this green is. Totally covering in its deeper saturation. And only when I add water, then it starts to get a little bit light. And I have struggled with the green in my paintings. In my watercolor, if I want to kind of use this like watercolor, let me quickly show you my sap greens in my watercolor to just compare. So as you can see, this is my watercolor sap greens, PwC, Rembrandt, Winsor Newton, and even at its thickest, most saturated, it is still transparent. Whereas this one, you can tell there's a lot of white in it. There's white colors mixed up in there to make it opaque and thick and chalky. Okay, I'm trying to rescue that pink so that it doesn't go too much. All right, so that is sap green light. Like I said, if I want to make a dark sap green, it becomes completely opaque. This is sap green. This is sap green light. This is sap green. I mean, they are beautiful hues, they are, but just a little bit too much white, I find. That I'm just not used to it. I'm just not used to it being like that. Okay, and then Hooker's green, which is gorgeous. Actually, it's almost like olive green. But again, you see how much white it has in it, that it makes it very, very opaque when it's thick. Okay, next we have Viridian, which is a color I hardly use because it doesn't really appear very much in florals, but I should try to learn to mix with it a bit more. It should be quite fun to do that. Okay, ultramarine is a color I use quite a lot. And I like this ultramarine because it's not as warm as some of the other ultramarines I have in my other set. And I mean, like, you know, people actually go for ultramarine because it's a warm blue, but I use it kind of like as, you know, as a blue flower. So sometimes the warm ultramarine is just too warm. This is more like cobalt, which I like. Okay, turquoise. I don't use as much as well, but I think I should. Like, look at it. It's so brilliant and bright and transparent. I really, really like the turquoise. Let me just blend that out. Okay. Next one is ultramarine pale, and it's basically this with white. Very opaque, very lovely if you like a pastel color. Okay, indigo, a color I use a lot of in my watercolor. So this is very nice. I do think it's quite pretty. And then with it watered down, it's great. It's a great color to have. Cobalt violet, which is kind of like your dioxazine purple, but a bit warmer. Very nice purple, very nice, very opaque when used thick. Okay, and then white. Now this will be fun to see whether it's opaque. See, I'm actually covering the word white. So yes, it is a nice opaque white. Okay, black. Very gorgeous black. I'm just covering the word black. And then watered down, it becomes more of a gray. And even more gray. Okay, and then finally burnt sienna. The only kind of brownish earth tone, well, apart from yellow ochre. And, oh, sorry, there's a bit of black in my brush. And there you have it. This is the 18 color set, swatch for you. I do recommend this set as a beginner. I think, because I don't have the 24 set, I don't know what the other additional colors are. I think there's an 18 set, 24, 36 maybe, but apart from maybe not having a burnt umber, which I actually don't have a burnt umber in this set at all. Maybe I should get one. Apart from not having a burnt umber, I believe it has everything you need to paint very bright and beautiful florals. The green will take a little bit getting used to if you like a more transparent green, but this is my review of this beautiful set. I just love it. I wish I paid more attention to it in before, and I will definitely use more of it. And I like that it has that gouache quality. Like if I need it to be more opaque, I want to layer a little bit more. This is good. Okay, so I do an orchid painting at the end of this, which you will see what I mean when I get to that. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, now I'm going to move on and start swatching this set here. My very brand new additional 12 color set. Now, why did I take so long to buy an additional set to my first 18? Previously, I was not really interested in pastel colors or gouache really, but just lately I've been dabbling in gouache a little bit, and I still like having pans rather than tubes. So I remember I had the 18 set and I started playing along with it, and then I really actually enjoyed it. So I said, why not try a couple more colors? So the first one, Cherry Blossom Pink. As you see, I totally covered the word cherry. And then water it down. It gets a little bit lighter and just lovely. Just such a lovely pink. Almost a little bit too girly for me. I would not be drawn to this pink straight away, but it's great for, I guess, cherry blossoms. Okay, this lilac, also nice and opaque. As you see, it's covered. And then I lighten it a little bit more. And this one is actually very light. Like, it's so close to a white. So if you're looking to, for a very light valued color to go over dark, this could be interesting. Okay, Horizon Blue. Also a very sweet pastel blue that covers, not a blue that I will use, but useful to have if you want to do a sky blue. Also, you know how much white it is in your paint when your paint water goes a bit chalky like this. Okay, next, Cobalt Blue. So I was really wanting a Cobalt Blue because it's actually my favorite blue to have in the palette. And it's a little bit transparent actually. So look how you can actually see, like the ultramarine, it's quite transparent. Well, actually, no, I don't know. It's just a bit more transparent than what you would expect, which I appreciate. Okay. Okay, lime green. Now this is a color which I was very excited to try because, I mean, look at it. It's a neon green that's pleasing to the eye. If you think neon green, you might think like, yeah, yuck. Like, why would I want green to be neon? But this is like, oh, I love it. I love it. It's limey, but it's more than limey. It just shouts, but it's still, biophilia. It still reminds me of plants. Okay, greenish yellow, same thing. Another green which I'm so appreciative to have. I love this. It's more olivey. It's really nice and opaque. and waters down to a beautiful green gold. So the greens in this set I love very much. Okay, natural beige is useful for skin tone, very opaque. I don't paint a lot of figurative or portraits, so but it's nice to have, and you will find flowers in this color. So natural beige, and then rose beige, which is just a more pinky tone to that. So this will be like, I don't know, fair Asian skin, and this will be fair Caucasian skin kind of thing. After all, this is a Japanese brand, right? So appreciate them having more of a yellow tinted skin tone. Okay, Indian red, which is so deliciously opaque and almost like a dragon's blood kind of thing, which I have in my palette, but definitely more chalky and opaque. So be careful if you want to mix that. It might just get a bit muddy. And then maroon, I've already tried this color and I love it so much. It's like a burgundy dark red. Definitely useful for florals and other things. Okay, gray is such an interesting color. It's definitely got a lot of white in it. It's something that I don't know if I'll use as much. Maybe for backgrounds, probably. It's not a color that excites me, or hey, actually mix with a bit of that red. It's actually quite nice. Yeah, so maybe good for mixing, but you know, not in its full intensity. And then finally, we have gray deep, blue gray deep. So I guess this is Payne's gray, which is such a gorgeous color, which is like a combination of indigo and black. I use Payne's gray more than black in my usual watercolor, so this is a good one. Stunning, stunning, stunning dark value to create lots of beautiful contrast, shadows, that sort of thing. Great, so that is this set here. And last but not least, we have the Starry Colors set. So with this set, you really gotta make sure you spray down a minute or two before you use it, because it does take a while to activate. And also just be careful to not spray it too much, because once it's activated, it will actually kind of like come up in a pool of color, of glitter. And sometimes you might be a little bit too diluted. So I'm going to try this first one, number 901. I don't use it as much, as you can tell, but it's a very gentle, silvery gold. So a nice little hint of sparkle if you need it. Next one is 902, which is a little bit yellower, just more gold. This is really nice actually. Bit more bronze. The third one is the one I probably use most. It's the most yellow of them. Your most, like, you know, tails of gold in a way. If you think of gold jewelry, this is the gold. Ooh, sparkling and beautiful. Almost opaquely covering up that 903. Okay, 904 is not gold. It is silver pearl. No, it's more like a pearl colored, which is so beautiful. Which it's so subtle, you can't really see it. And I don't use it as much, because I think when I reach for this set, I just want it to be the most obvious, you know. So this one also, I use it quite a lot. It's almost gone. It's the most bronze one, and oh my, Oh my, oh my. Just the physical sensation, that tactile feeling is enough for me to feel like, yes, I'm so happy with this set. Okay, 906, a mid-tone gold. I guess is your most middle of the range type of gold. And out of all of them, you can tell number 903 and 905 is the most opaque. The rest are more transparent. So I'm gonna lift this up a little bit to let you see the sheen of those colors. Yeah. So there you have it. This is my swatching video of my Kuretake Gansai Tambi collection that I have. And yeah, next up, we're gonna paint some flowers together. So this is about a half an hour painting shortened into 2 minutes. It's just a sped up video of me painting these orchids using this lovely set that I really enjoying so much. If you want to watch the full length tutorial, I have it on my Patreon in any of the tiers and along with 100 over online painting classes that I offer there. So I really like wanting to paint these using the greenish yellow and the lime green. And for the dark bits of the petals, I used cobalt, violet, and indigo. And with the green, I needed to get used to that opaqueness that I was telling you about. But now watching it back and doing a voiceover, I actually don't mind that green. It's just about getting used to it. And that's the thing about new supplies. You just got to lean into the attributes that it offers. But painting for me, it's all about experimentation and fun and, finding new ways to do certain things and having a blast along the way. So this is the second layer and I really found it super satisfying to use this dark, I believe it's black and maybe a touch of indigo. Probably even use that gray, that dark deep blue gray, and just putting the marks down on this really simple orchid. So this book is a gorgeous book called Women of Flowers, a collection of vintage floral books. In my Patreon, you get to see the actual reference photo as well as you do the tutorials with me. Now putting on, I struggle a bit with that last leaf because, it's a bit darker and unusual in color, but I just made do with what I had. I noticed some of the colors lifting from the underlayers as well when I wet it again with water, and I thought that was interesting and I didn't mind it either. So just putting on the final details here and then calling it done. Thanks for watching. Remember to like this video, subscribe, check out my Patreon. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful creative week. Bye.